to the Commin Quokka Show, the first show that is about me. No, it's not really about me, it's kind of about rounding up the end of the week. We've had all the shows that we're going to have for this week. Next week we're going to fill in, I'm going to come up with a video idea for Thursday, so that should be fun. So welcome to the Commin Quokka Show. Today we're just going to be covering, what's went on over the week, kind of covering car news a little bit, late night, just kind of rounding off the week, talking about some issues, and of course, Hyundai's hideous styling. I mean, seriously, what happened? So just to refresh you on some car news of this week, or the overall status of the car industry check-in, as I am going to call it, I've decided right now. Stellantis is, of course, going bankrupt, but they have a new CEO who is optimistic, or at least they're trying to find a new CEO who will hopefully be optimistic. General Motors is moving out of the Renken Center, which, if you don't know, Rensen stands for Renaissance Center. It is a huge building that they bought, they own it, and GM is making the wonderful decision to demolish two of the rear towers. I believe it's these two. If you don't know, this is in Detroit, of course. Big three, big Detroit three, Chrysler, GM, and who? Ford. Chrysler, GM, and Ford. The Detroit, the mother of American car companies. They're demolishing the rear two buildings, renovating all this crap. This is actually a hotel. Now they're going to be renovating the hotel and then making this the GM headquarters and then putting GM in the buildings. It used to be each building would represent a different thing of GM. You had Pontiac, not Chrysler. You had Pontiac, Chevrolet, GMC, and then all the other crap brands. Now they don't really have that many brands anymore, at least brands that they're proud of and continuing doing. I mean, think about it. All they have is Chevrolet anymore. GMC is just rebadged Chevrolets, Buick is just rebadged Chevrolets, Cadillac is just rebadged Chevrolets, and we've ran out of brands. So, I mean, does Hummer count? Hummer's not necessarily big enough to command its own. Anyway, and, Mary Barra is behind all this. Of course, she's the CEO, the chief executive officer, the brains behind all or lack thereof, of this entire operation. And GM has, of course, made the wonderful decision where they're going to keep the building while it's being renovated. This renovation's going to take, they said, anywhere from 5 to 10 years, something like that. They're getting rid of everything inside of those buildings. They're almost gutting them out, replacing them, and demolishing two gigantic skyscrapers. I mean, it's almost the tallest building in Detroit. So yeah, that's fun, I guess. And they're going to be renting an office building that they're currently almost finished building right now. It's a stupid plan, but hey, you want to know what? Nissan and Honda are merging, as Honda's not doing all that well, and Nissan is nearly bankrupt. So, I guess that's okay. Volkswagen is also bankrupt. It seems like everyone's forgotten about Volkswagen, but out of the ones that are going bankrupt, they are by far the worst off. They're seriously, it's getting bad there. Also, car companies are making cars like this, with the inflamed nostrils. Seriously, it looks like the car has a very severe cold, and it looks like the window line should be down here, but no, it's just a big chunk of crappy red plastic, and you get the tiny little windows that you can barely see out of. It's just awful. And then the stupid Hyundai styling. People are calling this a masterpiece. That's what this episode is mainly going to be about. Hyundai, and their styling, as well as Kia. I think that this is hideous, but we're going to talk about that later. And you also know it's kind of an issue in the car industry when cars like this are coming out, and yet your parents, your teachers, your professors, your pizza delivery driver, anyone that you interact with on a daily basis drives the exact same car. This was meant to be a joke, but it's actually not. I've been driving around Oregon lately, and 94% of the cars that I see, aside from the other, 6%, those are all GM cars. All these are Toyotas, and nearly 70% of all those cars are these specific Corollas. I don't know what it is. Everyone is buying these up. I see why. People just need something reliable, because everything nowadays is garbage. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that everything nowadays is just hot, straight up trash. Just garbanzo beans. Just garbaggio. So, they're buying these cars. I understand it. I'm going to make a video sometime, about the cars that you should buy in 2024. I've got a lot of video ideas, which is really good, starting off the new year, so that's pretty exciting. Also, the LA wildfire. We've got to talk about some things happening. If you don't know, Los Angeles is literally turning into hell. It's very bad. They're having winds, they're having issues. It didn't help that the Californians decided that they were going to defund the fire department and all that crap and put it in the police department, which, LA is bad with crime, but you need more fire services for this. And there's been a bunch of stuff revealed about how the government's kind of incompetent and all that crap, but you probably already knew that. And now it's time to look at Hyundai, and Kia. Why does everyone love their styling? Because I really don't know why people like their styling. Like, it's genuinely confusing to me, because I don't get it. Like, to me, these are some of the ugliest cars I have ever seen. Like, let's look at the Santa Fe, right? A car that everyone has been talking about. I think that's kind of their goal. Sorry, I'm sitting down in the floor of my office because it's kind of nice down here, actually. I like the carpet. I just got carpet put in. That's what I've been doing. I just bought this house, like bought it. So it's kind of nice, and I just got carpet put in and all the crap, because hardwood floors are nice until you have to use them every day, and then your feet get cold. So I'm a carpet person, and I'm really enjoying it, actually. I got the extra thick pile with the nice padding to it. Anyway, so Santa Fe, everyone is talking about this. That's kind of Hyundai's goal when they make these vehicles. They make them look as bizarre as they possibly can with the dog bones and the stupid styling. It's kind of like a gimmick. It's kind of like if SNL made their own car that represented the entire car industry. It's kind of what looks like this. Also, I love the reviews that they put up. Like, yeah, sure, Hyundai. I'm sure those are honest reviews. It's probably like when all of us, when they... this was long ago. I think when I was in either high school or college, they would give us, because our school was trying to be new and modern, and they would give us these stupid rubrics, and we would have to grade our own assignment, and everyone would put 9.5 out of 10, because if you put a 10 out of 10, they would know that you're just kind of bullshitting them. That's kind of what they're doing here. So they can't put 5 stars, so they put 4.5. Yeah, I think it's hideous. I mean, this is really just a stereotype of the entire car industry. Big, gigantic, honking wheels, where all the wheels, pretty much the only thing that's actually supporting the car is these thick 5 spokes here. The rest of this is just for show, which is hideous. You've got this little thing here, which is supposed to be like this. Car companies always do this. Those bumper bars, they put on Australian cars for the Outback and bumping kangaroos off your cars? Those big metal things? They try and incorporate them into the design. So they'll put some cheap plastic piece of bullshit chrome on the front of your car to make you feel like, oh, I could hit something and that chrome will protect my car. That's kind of what this is. They're trying to pretend like this is going to be this bronze bar is actual metal, and if you hit something, it's going to be a big bar that's just going to protect you in an accident. Most of the car industry is just marketing. Same with the Smart 4 Was the Smart 4 safe? Yes. But if the Smart 4 looked like every other small car, would people have bought it? No. It was that tritium cell that was clearly very visible. Remember that little silver thing that went across the windshield and all the way down to the door sill? It was that gave the consumers an idea. No, I'm not in marketing. That gave the consumers an idea of, oh, I'm safe in this car. That's what this is. It's just more bullshit. It's probably just a piece of plastic that you can snap off. Yeah, also the black panel, black plastic. It was invading the interiors of cars, and now it's invaded the exteriors of cars. I have to admit, it looks kind of neat, the front. The back is the ugliest thing in the world. And also this is another thing I don't get. They put this to break it up a bit, right? Because you can't just have a black, a continuous black piece. That's what they were doing in the 90s. They would just have your little... Remember that little circle window on the sides and then your front windshield and your rear windscreen and all that crap? And that's how it was. And then maybe a little side window on the SUVs. Nowadays, they in the thousands, they would connect the rear little screen here to the back windscreen, and then connect the front windows to the front windscreen. And that's how they would do it. Nowadays, they're just connecting all the windows and painting, or not painting, but... Yeah, I guess painting, but a lot of them use plastic nowadays. But painting the pillars black and to kind of fit in with the glass and make it look stylish. But they still need to break that up, which has come with Land Rover and all the other car companies, putting some sort of oval shape in one of the pillars, and they're no different. They put this stupid little pill-shaped thing here, nice and rounded there. And the idea is that this black piece does nothing, and that you stick your hand in the gray part, and then you hold onto the black piece, and then you can climb up to the top of your car First of all, I know rainwater's gonna get in there, and I know it's gonna, every time, like, spiders are gonna get in there, and every time, like, your mirror, the crap that's behind your glass of your mirror, and how you, like, constantly, there are a lot of trees where I live. It's Oregon. I mean, gotta get used to it. And I'll just get in my car, and I'll see a spider crawling out of my mirror, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fair. That's a fair spot, dude, right? You're not infringing on me. It's a little warm space behind the glass of the mirror. It's fine for them. That's going to be what they do here. They're just going to crawl in that little pocket. They're going to build a gigantic nest. You're going to stick your hand in there. Boom. You're full of spiders, right? That's just what's going to happen there. And it's not super useful either, because people have just forgotten, you can just grab the car. You do not need a dedicated grab handle to just grab the car. My parents have an SUV, and to put things on the top of it, I just grab the roof rack. And I climb up on the seat, and that's how I do it. I don't need a stupid little handle here that's not going to be useful for anything, right? I mean, it's a nice idea, but really. Also, you may notice the windows are incredibly small with gigantic plasticky bits, making sure that you have the worst field of view possible when sitting in your own car. The grille and headlights are one big gigantic chunk with the dog bone style and the silver thing. It's all just very ugly. I mean, it's modern in that it looks like a piece of art, but not a good piece of art. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like people would pay a lot of money for it, but it's also ugly, and I would kind of clown on them for spending that much money on a car. It looks nice. Like, it looks nice as an idea, but in real life, I don't see how this would be practical. And you can tell in every single shot of this, they try and avoid the rear end. Like, they just don't want to show you. Like, it's all the front end, and there's the rear end. Look at how hideous that is. You've got the dog bone in the back. See it? This is also one chunk, and then you've got this hideous line. It looks like one of those Ford F-13550 King Ranch models with the stupid lines in the back and the W. Those are awesome, man. I mean, seriously, those are cool. I don't like Ford, but damn, those are cool. It looks like they're trying to do that, except it's a shitty piece of shit, and they just put Santa Fe in the back there. Still a piece of crap. They put these gigantic lights there, and this, again, another stupid little bar that makes you think, my car's gonna be protected if something hits me. And just more marketing, more bullshit. It's a crappy car for people that have very low taste. I mean, the interior looks nice, but it kind of looks like, people in the city. Probably in the city where you live. Maybe this is just an Oregon thing. They'll buy the super old rundown houses and then take the peel and stick gray wood flooring and the ivory paint, and they'll do that to the entire house. This is kind of what that looks like. You've got the peel and stick crappy wood right there. You've got the awful discolored paint right there. And then just a bunch of plastic. And none of it's all that nice, really. Also, I don't like the digital gauge clusters. I'm not talking about the... You know what I mean. Because it's all one gigantic sheet of black plastic, which means if you leave your sunroof open, or, any sort of light gets into the vehicle, which I would usually say through the windows or anything, but the people who would buy a car like this would usually tint the windows out, to make it look cooler, so no light would even get in, and they wouldn't be able to see anything from the windscreen or any other things. But nonetheless, even if you didn't tint your windows, light would still get in and shine all over that, and I wouldn't be able to see a damn thing through that thing. Might as well not even have one, because I ain't seeing nothing. Hyundai styling is just trying to convince the people that have no taste, that want to feel like they have taste. So they want to feel like they have, like, a new revolution. Like, the balance bands, those stupid, they were really popular in high school for me. Those stupid balance things, the rubber ones, the power synergy drive, or whatever the hell it's called. Remember those? Those was just people who don't have any taste, who watched a commercial for something and said, yeah, you want to know what? This is my thing. This is new. People should know about this. This is cheap. That's Hyundai right now. People are like, wow, the styling is so good. This is really good. People should know about this. This is like my thing. I should tell other people about Hyundai. They're so great. Their cars are so amazing. They're so cheap and styled well. No, you have no taste if you buy a Hyundai and you like the design. Some people buy Hyundais because they're cheap. I get it. But if you buy it for the style, you really have no taste. Seriously. I mean, just ugly. And another thing that they do, guys... Put the headlights up here. I don't want some stupid little, bar here. This light bar? What does that do? It does nothing. Nothing. All your lights are down here. And this just looks ugly. It just looks ugly. And then you've got this big sweeping line. And the door looks like when my parents go out with me for like dinner or something, and we see a Hyundai, they are like, oh, that car's been in a bad accident. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like this car's been hit from the side several different times, because it's bent in, and then it juts out, and it goes back in again. The styling and designing makes absolutely no sense. I just don't get it. It makes no sense. And sure, the Ioniq is fun, and the Nexo is a pretty decent, okay car, I guess. But still, the styling, man, it's just so bad. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. The Nexo isn't that bad, because it actually has real head and taillights that look like a normal car. And it's hydrogen, which means it's actually kind of the answer, and actually kind of a good car. But still, it's still infected by Hyundai, which means it's still a piece of crap. And it still looks like crap. So, yeah. And Hyundai's not even the worst offender. Kia's doing this thing. They're trying to do the same thing where they style their cars interestingly. It all started with the Soul, where they were like, hey, let's take a Forte, whatever the hell you call it, and let's stick a gigantic boxy butt on the back of it, and then put some weird lights on it. We figured it out, guys. We're geniuses. Wow. Let's put a hamster in it, too. That's what they did. That was their big idea. And that's what they're doing to all their cars. All these cars are just Fortes, K5s, or other sedans with a gigantic boxy ass on them, and then they're selling them as SUVs. None of these are capable. The Niro is... Look at that. That's less ground clearance than my Prius has, and mine it's a hatchback. It's not even a sedan. The EV6, again, they're all just sedans. And then, look, even with the Telluride, the ground clearance is pathetic. You have barely any ground clearance. None. Look at that. Look at that ground clearance. None whatsoever. It's not like it's not a lot. Like, for snow and everything, this would be fine. But you have to admit, compared to other cars, this ain't a lot, Chief. And look, the way that the wheel... First of all, these wheels are strangely... They look like they're oval wheels. Is that just because this image is poorly stretched out? That one looks normal. This one looks very ovally, and I don't really get that. But you can see that the peak of the wheel, right there, this is the top half, this is the bottom half. I would say 1/4 of the bottom half, which usually touches the road, right? Usually, that center point of the tire would be right there. And the wheels would be sticking lower, and the fender would come down lower. In this car, no. Like, 1/4 of the bottom part of the tire, and, you know, it spins and everything. You get what I'm saying here. Like, the slope is going down already before that plastic trim is. Does this make sense to anyone? No, it doesn't. The point is, the tire is big, but not a lot of it is actually going to give you any ground clearance. Does that make more sense than my ridiculous way of saying it? And then look, wow, it can drive in water. I also don't like this. My cousin was really, really, really into Steven Universe, and now they're doing that stupid, like, I watch YouTube shorts occasionally if I'm really bored, like I'm waiting for my microwave food to come out of the microwave, or I'm cooking eggs in the morning, or something, and you know Spinell, that stupid character where they spray the perfume on the thing? You know that character that sang that song in the Steven Universe movie a million years ago? That's what this looks like. It looks like the running mascara that they put on that weird animated thing. Like, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like hair dryer, like someone took a hair dryer to the back of a Highlander and it just started to run off. And it doesn't look pretty or nice. I will say it's the least offensive out of most of the Hyundai Kia products, but it still isn't fantastic. And then of course you've got the Forte. All these cars are, and also we have to talk about the Sorento. Don't allow. We have to talk about the Sorento. It's ugly. 6-spoke wheels. Decent-ish grill. At least the headlights are actually headlights instead of having a stupid light bar and the tiny little headlights all the way down here. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Like, they put the car all the way to the ground. Like, they don't put the wheels higher in the car. They just extend the sills of the door all the way down, like an inch away from the ground, and then they put the headlights down there. And then they put they don't even put a light bar up there. They just put a little piece of white tape at the top. That's going to be Hyundai's in 2026. It's ridiculous. At least it has actual headlights. But still, it's still ugly. Also, what is that? May I ask, what is that? Is that styling? Am I witnessing style? Am I witnessing magic here? Because that just looks like crap. It doesn't look good. So, yeah, and the fog lights and everything, it's just ugly. And I really don't like it. Again, it's probably not for me, but still I think it's ugly. And the Sportage. The Sportage. It's so ugly. It's the ugliest Kia. It's so ugly. Look at this. Ew, that doesn't even look like a car. It looks like in those animated series when they draw it like an alien. Like in, Twilight? What is it? The Twilight Zone? That 60s thing that scared everyone? That stupid thing? This is what aliens look like. This would be like an alien spaceship car. The headlights are towards the side. You got that stupid LED reflective tape road worker strip there. Seriously. What? It doesn't look good. This doesn't tie into anything else. It's just there. Like, there's no styling element to it. There's nothing. The wheels look nice. But again, at least it has some decent ground clearance. But the front of it looks like those dust busters that you vacuum the baseboards with. That's kind of what it looks like right there. Yeah, I think their vehicles are just hideous. At least they're keeping sedans alive. They're one of the first companies ever within the last 10 years to launch a new sedan and not just either kill off or update the one that they already have. And last but not least, the fart. The fart is still a piece of crap. Yeah. It's still stinky. And it's not that it looks bad. I mean, it looks decent. It's that it's a bad car. It genuinely is. I know someone they bought one of these straight out of high school. I know. I left for Florida for college, and they didn't have me there for their advice. And they bought a brand new Kia Forte because they could afford one. They bought the base model. It was in gray. Of course, it had a black interior. And they went through not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 different transmissions on that damn car. 7 different transmissions. 7. And one of them wasn't even covered under warranty. And I came back to Oregon. I hadn't seen them in a long time. I just bumped into them normally, doing my normal shopping. It's a small town. Salem isn't a big town. And I was like, do you own that car? How's it been for you? Because I was genuinely curious. They're like, oh, I'm on my 7th transmission. What? No, I've never even had to replace a transmission on any of my cars. Granted, I've only had 2. My parents have never had to do that with their cars. 7. That's more transmissions than the average person will ever use in their lifetime with the cars that they actually own. 7 with one car? All covered under warranty? Ugh. Also, Kia's naming isn't good either. Like the Niro. No! Like the Niro. They're not creative at all. They just watch old movies. Like the Niro. You cannot tell me that you didn't take inspiration from Little Niro's Pizza. Technically, it's with an E instead of an O, but you get the point. It's spelled differently, but it's the same. All electric range is 33 miles. Ew, that's stinky. Anyway, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Yeah, they stink.